Hey everyone, this is Darius from the Shotcaller. I'm sitting here with Ramdi Jamal. Jamal, I'm very sorry. From Gamers Origin, the coach, of course. Yesterday, you did pack a loss against Illuminar, 0-2. Surprising to many people. Tell me what went wrong in that series.
Everything that could have gone wrong has went wrong. I feel like game one, it was just a problem of execution. It's like people saying, "Oh, it's such a cocky draft," but it's a draft that we have basically executed every single time we've played it. If people follow us at all, Ezreal, Braum, Graves, and Tank Top is pretty much what we've almost always done, and we've always crushed with it. And we were doing really well. It's a very top-centric comp. Tonnerre got ahead. We dove top, but bot shouldn't have been pressured this hard. And I think that when it came to the mid game, we messed up a few execution problems, and then obviously we get outscaled. Or they're able to get Nash and force on us, which is a huge problem. So game two, I think I messed up the draft a lot, and I think the momentum that Illuminar had and like the negative momentum that we had kind of caused us to lose. And we were just, I guess, mentally not there during the day.
You took a lot of blame on Twitter, at least, and you said that you want to do better in the future and work 5 times as hard. So we can expect you to continue to work with the Gamers Origin and the team?
Yeah, I'm not leaving Gamers Origin. I know a lot of people said, "Oh, you're going to leave GO now because you lost." Now, I know I've been really inconsistent with the teams that I've joined in the past. I said on Twitter that I do want to stay with GO. I really like being here, working for the org and working with the players, and I've signed with them for the rest of the year, and I intend to complete the rest of my contract with GO.
All right, fair enough. Now, that said, what do you think of the tournament overall? Like, has it been that much of a fantastic chance for European and national teams, or do you think that there are areas of improvement that you would be able to suggest immediately?
I mean, I definitely think there's areas to improve on everything, because nothing is perfect, but something needed to replace the Challenger Series because it kind of left a huge hole in international viewership on EU Challenger League. So every region had their own national leagues, but obviously if you're French, you'll watch the French League. If you're Spanish, you'll watch the Spanish League. And not many international viewers pay attention to them. The EU Masters kind of gives a chance for everyone who may not be or have the time to watch all those leagues, kind of still get a grasp of who's up and coming in EU. And that's especially important because EU LCS has always been that one of the few leagues in the world that really regularly brings in new talent all the time. The only one I can really think of is Korea, and as a major league. So being able to look at the at the Challenger Series and to give these players exposure helps that process of getting rookie players into the LCS when they're ready to play.
So do you think that in the future, especially with the partnership system, not the franchise system, coming in for the EULCS, European Masters will be the one-way ticket for up-and-coming players to show themselves in the spotlight and potentially get picked up by EULCS teams?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. The problem is that no other region has a solo queue like Korea, and in Korea, the way that you get spotted by the pro teams is through solo queue performance, so EU does need something like that, and I feel like I'm not sure exactly what the plan is for the franchise, if there will be academy leagues, or if Riot will still make a huge national league where even teams outside the LCS can participate, while the LCS teams participate as well. We're not really sure what's going to happen, but I don't think like a specific academy format of 10 teams is going to work in EU because there's so many players. So they need, and I don't want to make 20 LCS teams because then that would just be, I don't know, I don't like that idea. I don't think that's a great idea. So I really do think that having something similar to the ERL or the European National Leagues is super important, and I look forward with optimism to see what Riot have in store for the challenger level of EU.
Fair. I think from what I've heard so far and just the way that EU Masters has been organized and stuff, I'm relatively certain that there have been hints made towards, okay, we're going to have the franchise league, and then we'll still have the national leagues, and then we'll have European Masters every half a year, essentially, and that will be like the pinnacle of the national leagues, essentially.
I think that's fine. And I also think that it could be good if like all the 10 LCS teams still participated in the national leagues. For example, let's give an example like Misfits, for example, assuming they make the franchise. I know that they have ties to the UK because they have Innerflame, who's always been a big advocate of Challengers level, especially in the UK, so they could represent a UK team in the UK Premiership, or somewhere like G2. Ocelot, he's Spanish, or actually now he's actually announced that they've moved G2 headquarters to Berlin, so he could assume a German representation for the German National League. Or Vitality, for example, is a French, so they can work in the French scene. So I'd really like to see Riot incorporate that, so that you could still see teams like, for example, Mad Lions or Gamers Origin, who maybe won't make the franchise, still participate and then represent their countries.
Fair, and actually get a lot of exposure. That said, speaking of exposure, Origin has put in quite the performance. We're now talking right after the first game. Pretty impressive first game from Origin. Do you think they'll take it?
I think Origin wins, but not a 3-0. And obviously we're saying that now and the second game is going on, but I think that Illuminar have a game in them that they can take. I think we definitely underestimated them, and a lot of teams underestimated them. They improved a lot, but I don't think that they have what it takes to win it.
That said, isn't it very impressive how Illumina, coming from one of the smallest national leagues at the end of the day, and even a team like ClickTech, I thought was super impressive. You know, Milica, a very fantastic player. Isn't that amazing to see how the EU legacy of, you know, always having these amazing talents, especially in the mid lane, of course, but in other roles as well, always consistently pop up, and that doesn't seem to be a drain, even though people are worried about that. You know, the best always going to NA.
I mean, if there wasn't EU Masters, people wouldn't know about stuff like that. Maybe the people who watch the leagues or pay close attention, wouldn't know about that, but then the people that actually matter, like the general crowd, wouldn't know about these players if it wasn't for EU Masters. So you can already see that there is a success. Like Milica?
I think it's Milica.
Let's call him Milica. All right, Milica, I already know for a fact that he's been getting offers, and we'll definitely see him in a strong national league in the future because he's a player deserving of it.
For sure. And I mean, the team, of course, got disbanded right after, but still fantastic to see. So, in that aspect, good job from Riot, I guess. What do you think makes the French league so special compared to other ones?
We're the only open tour, as far as I know, in which we don't necessarily have a set league, but we have circuit points and LAN tournaments. So very similar to the old format, Season 2, and to the Counter-Strike format, where we go to several events and LANs and play qualifiers. I think it's unique. It's definitely something that was common in the past, but much less common now that leagues are happening, and like specific LCSs and premierships and stuff like that. But I like the open tour format. I think the idea of going to a LAN and playing adds a certain weight to it, which makes it more enjoyable and more serious.
Because there's always a huge potential for upsets as well.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely, yeah. Gamers Origin have dominated all of France last year, and they did it because they were always able to perform on LAN, and I hope to continue that as well with this year. That in the future, taking this as a learning experience, we'll be able to continue to dominate the French scene and come back EU Masters stronger.
So obviously you might be a bit biased given that you're a coach and stuff, but what have been, besides Milica, for example, been a few of the players that have really impressed you at this EU Masters so far?
I mean, do you want me to just talk about team players not on my team? Because I mean, every single one of my players has impressed me.
Okay.
Every single one of them. No, but let's ignore Gamers Origin for a second and talk about other teams. Mad Lions, Nemesis, and Crown Shot, and Self-Made Man, I think, are all ridiculously good players. Woolite stepped up a lot this event, but everyone knows about Woolite already. Let's trickle down a bit. We see teams like, of course, ClickTech. We have Milica. We have teams like NIP, like Larson. Yep. Did quite well. XD Smiley, quite inconsistent, but had some good showing as well. Of course, XD Smiley has been around for a while. Larson a bit more. Blomster Finn, a bit of a rookie, had some good showings on his Kled on top lane. I think he's definitely someone people can keep their eye on. Just going to keep going down and seeing if I can remember any more. Millennium Neon is very good.
Right, yeah.
But they obviously didn't do super well. So,
what did you think of Magi Felix? Because I thought he was really impressive at times.
Impressive at times, horrible in others. I mean, I competed in the LVP earlier this year, and Movie Star Riders was the classic choke team. And I guess we can relate because we choked as well, but they are very inconsistent as a team, and it showed. Yeskla also was one of the players that showed a lot of promise. I think Magi Felix, of course. He obviously has the skill level. His consistency is a big problem. And so I'm hesitant to put him up level of Tonnerre or Froggen or Nemesis. And obviously I'm just comparing Froggen to two up and coming.
I was going to say that's...
Let's say the top of the European Master. You know, I would hesitate a bit, just a bit, to put him up there.
Makes sense though, makes sense for sure. That said, what do you think of the Movie Star Riders having essentially a 10-man roster and them, of course, only being able to bring in 2 subs? What do you think of the whole situation there? Does it make sense, or is it even helpful from a coach's perspective to have that many people on a team?
It's hard to manage, but if managed well, it's good. I also think it's good that Riot only allow you to bring 2 subs, because if you had a 10-man roster, then that just means teams with more funding could essentially dominate a league. So bringing over 2 subs forces you to, 1, be able to self-analyze your team and understand what are your strongest subs and maybe your weakest roles. Okay, and the thing is that some coaches are too afraid to tell their players, hey, we're bringing a sub because sometimes you're not consistent and I need to pressure you. I think that a 10-man roster is good if done right, but I have yet to see an example of it done well, and Movie Star Riders didn't use it well, in my opinion.
Fair statement. Now, interestingly enough, RNG for MSI do have to drop one of their players as well. We might not see
Karsa,
exactly.
Let Me, I believe, yeah.
So that would be interesting.
I mean, Let Me low-key dominated that series. I think he
Yeah.
did super well. I would rather Let Me be going, let Me ZZ Tai rather than Karsa, because I think MLXG is a beast, man. I think he's super good. And I think that having Let Me versus ZZ Tai might be beneficial, more beneficial, in my opinion, than having Karsa MLXG.
I think that absolutely makes sense. Yeah, my MXG was just completely insane.
Also, actually, if you're thinking about jungle meta, MSI will be, what, 8.8, 8.9, something like that?
8.8, I believe. Still.
Yeah, and then Kane is super strong in this patch, Graves is super strong in this patch, Lee Sin, as a result, is strong because he's good against aggressive junglers. MLXG meta. Let the man play. Karsa's a good lead too, but MLXG is the god of it in China.
Would be unfortunate. I mean, Karsa could be reunited with Flash Wolves because they obviously qualified, but, you know, that's just how it goes at the end of the day. That's League.
That is League, I agree. And they do have to self-analyze and decide who's more beneficial. And if I was the one making the choice, I think Let Me ZZ Tai is better than MLXG Karsa.
I'd agree 100%. I just think it's a very unfortunate circumstance in that case. Anyway, so anything you would like to say to the Gamers Origin fans and to your own Twitter followers, maybe?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Geo fans. I know we let you down, but we're just going to come back and dominate the rest of France like we always do. That's a promise. And we're going to come back to the next EU Masters and we'll do much better. I know it's easy to focus on the negatives, but I like to think that our past performances up until now have made you guys proud of us, but we weren't able to carry it all the way, and we'll do better next time. And to my followers, thanks for following me and dealing with my shit tweets. And I also want to say thank you to Geo staff. They've been really wonderful to me since I've come here. Very supportive of the team, especially in tough times like now. And to our sponsors and supporters, you guys are the best. We're just going to keep working to make you proud.
Awesome. You heard it from Ram, and this was Darius from the Shotcaller. Hope you had a good day. See you then. Hey everyone, this is Darius from the Shotcaller, and I hope you just enjoyed that interview. This is a generic end card, so make sure to click here for another interview, or here for a different interview. And if you want to check out more content, specifically from the NALCS, make sure to visit theshotcaller.net for more interviews and other esports content. Have a good day.